Welcome to It's Not What You Think, episode 27, recorded on September 27th, 2021. The title of this episode is The Best Way to Fail: Why Failure Can Be the Best Thing That Ever Happened to You. It's Not What You Think podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. When you like, comment, share, or subscribe, it means a lot to me, more than you know. So that support helps us produce this show. This podcast may present opinions different from yours or mine. So while we keep an open mind, just remember, it's not what you think. My entire professional career has consisted of many entrepreneurial ventures, so I'm very familiar with the words failure and success. And in general, the word failure, of course, has a negative connotation to it. We all believe that failure is bad and success is good. So first, I'd like to introduce a boy named Tani to shed some light on this topic. Tani was a 7-year-old boy when he and his family came to the United States as refugees. They were homeless here. It's about 3 or 4 years ago. And when they arrived, they lived in New York City in a shelter, so you can imagine what that was like. Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times wrote a wonderful article about Tani. In short, his story is as follows. Tani learned to play chess in the New York City public school system, and at first he wasn't very good. In fact, they didn't even let him into the club because he didn't have enough money to join. The lowest possible rating in chess is 100, and his score was 105 after a short period of time. But he enjoyed chess. It helped him take his mind off of the homeless situation that he was in. And he became better. And to quote Nicholas Kristof, when he turned 8, he won the New York State Chess Championship for his age group, beating the kids from rich private schools. In May of this year, at 10 years old, Tani became the 28th youngest person ever to become a chess master in the United States. At the end of this inspiring article, Nicholas Kristof says, or asks Tani how he feels when he loses. And Tani's response was, when you lose, you have made a mistake, and that can help you learn. I never lose, I learn. What an amazing pearl of wisdom from anyone, let alone a 10-year-old boy who had to overcome so much. So failure for Tani was a wonderful opportunity to learn and improve and succeed. Second story, on January 14, 2015, Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgeson climbed El Capitan's Dawn Wall in Yosemite Valley. It had never been done before without ropes to free climb it, and these guys, they were going to do this for the first time by anyone in the world. It took them 19 days. The whole climb was 32 pitches, that's segments of the climb, and they were climbing about 3,000 feet from bottom to top. The problem was, although they'd planned this for many years, Kevin Jorgeson had never successfully climbed a lot of those pitches. And on this particular attempt, during that 19-day period, he had a lot of difficulty with pitch 15. He attempted it 11 times in the course of 7 days. And of course, during the whole 19-day attempt, they lived on the wall on what's called a portaledge. So looking back, and focusing on the failure or success of an end result may not be, or a mid-result may not be productive or healthy. Now, when a business goes out of business, there's usually a financial loss, which of course never feels good to anyone involved. It's easy and maybe even appropriate to call that business a failure, especially from the perspective of the investor who lost money. However, from the perspective of the operator, if they learned valuable lessons and if they applied those lessons to future ventures, then who's to say that those individuals are failures or successes? Was Tani a failure when he lost a chess match? Maybe, maybe not. Was Kevin Jorgeson a failure when he tried 11 times for 7 days to free climb pitch 15, when he'd already climbed 14 pitches and had 17 to go? Or did he learn how to persevere and improve and eventually do something that no one else in the world did? And what if he never made it past pitch 15? Well, I would say if he persevered and continued to improve with his best effort, he would have still been a hero in my book. The more you learn, the faster you learn it, the better you get at it. Sounds simple? Sounds logical? Well, not if you're purely a goal-oriented person, or if you expect black and white results from yourself or others every step of the way. When you view yourself as a failure or view anyone as a failure in their attempts to achieve It's like building a wall around your mind. It's like being stuck in the mud. With that label, your mind is blocked from seeing all the opportunities or options that may be open to you. So how can you learn anything? How can you improve? How can you have the confidence to go to the next project or venture? Let's talk about responsibility. If someone opens a restaurant 1 month before a pandemic kicks in and then closes 6 months later due to a lockdown, who's responsible? Now, of course, we all need to take responsibility for our thoughts, our speech, and our actions. It goes without saying. But sometimes causes are beyond our control and are not simple or black and white. We cannot predict the future. We can only prepare for it, be open-minded, be flexible, be patient, and be ready to act for whatever comes your way. Now, for those of us that are trained or raised in the world of business, law, science, engineering, health management, sports, well, facts are facts, and we have winners and we have losers. A clear black or white conclusion is demanded, but life is rarely that clear. So how do we train ourselves to live our lives to be open to new information, new ways of doing things, always learning, always improving, and not getting weighed down with unproductive labels such as failure? Imagine raising a child, and every time they make a mistake, they get reprimanded about how they failed, or always reminding an employee of their mistakes. Instead of learning, the beneficiaries of these labels start to take the label of someone who has a pattern of making mistakes, a pattern of failure. The odds of them successfully going forward after these types of labels gets lower and lower as we pin them down with the word failure. When really they may just be successful people in the making. Now, in these cases, you're putting these individuals into stress. You're weighing them down so much they find it very difficult to learn from their mistakes. It's difficult to then try new things, and makes it difficult to be creative, use their imagination for fear of being labeled a failure, just in case it doesn't work out as planned. So they can very well carry a heavy burden on their backs for the rest of their lives. The solution comes from looking at our motivation. What is our motivation to achieve something? Motivation allows us to make decisions that will lead to a life of cyclical frustration or a life of learning. So there's external motivation, money, fame, power, sex. These are things that can motivate us. I want more money, more power, more sex, better jobs, things like that. These are goal-oriented motivations. The focus is not on a future event or achievement happening or not happening. I maintain that the overwhelming emphasis on achieving a goal leads to a life of frustration, constantly chasing something. You get the money, you need more. Now you can worry about losing the money. You get the raise, you get the better job, great. But then you worry about maybe losing the job. So there's temporary happiness from getting these types of things, and that temporary happiness wears off, and then you need more. Same with fame, same with power, same with sex. You always need to feed it to be happy. What are we feeding? We're feeding the ego. The ego, our desire for these things, the story we tell ourselves, those stories have to be supported by these types of successes. And we know the ego is just a bunch of stories that we tell ourselves about who we are or the way we should be. These stories, these thoughts, they are just an illusion. It is a never-ending cycle of chasing our tail. Whatever you can achieve can be lost. Everything is impermanent. What is solid today will change tomorrow or sometime in the future. Or it's never enough because it needs to be renewed. More money, bigger house, repair the house, keep the house, bigger car, better car, etc. Let's consider a different type of motivation, intrinsic motivation, where we are motivated to learn or experience or be curious about what's actually going on right now during the experience or the activity. It is more of a focus on what's going on while we're doing the activity, whether it's climbing a mountain, growing a business, raising a child, going on a trip, playing a sport, creating art. These can all be process-oriented. We may feel some stress during the process, but we have the opportunity to learn about ourselves as we go. So to motivate ourselves intrinsically means we're focusing on the present moment. Goal-oriented is focusing on the future. When we focus on the present, the ego, those stories that we tell ourselves, disappears. We're too busy focusing on what we're doing to have these stories running around in our mind. So we can look at motivation regarding how we live our lives. What motivates us in our career? What choices do you make on what to do in your life? Either type of motivation may involve stress, but focusing on a goal exclusively leads to more stress, and focusing on the present moment leads to less stress because we're curious and we're in the present moment. But stress is not even the enemy. What is the enemy is how we approach our lives, how we motivate ourselves. Do we motivate towards fleeting achievement or towards learning and experience? So what can we do about this? We can change our motivation when we find ourselves seeking external goals. We can seek new things and not be averse to them, even if they involve uncertainty and stress. Appreciate our current stressors, benefit from the process we are in. We can stay present in the moment. To do this, we need to train ourselves. How? Well, we have to train ourselves to be in the moment. We can do that through a lot of practice, through meditation. We have to retrain our minds on how we view our motivation. Most of us have career goals, financial goals, goals in sports, hobbies. Goals can help you stay on track. They can keep you focused. But when the goal becomes the only thing that you are focused on, you will be under the illusion that achieving that goal will make everything better or just right. So set a goal and then focus on the present. Learn, enjoy, be curious, and fail well. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope this helps. If you'd like to support me or the It's Not What You Think podcast, please like, comment, share, or subscribe. Have a great day.